How well do modern projectors display images? Can you watch movies and play games on them like you would on a TV? What is better to put in your home? A classic TV, like a 75-inch or an 88-inch? Or should you consider this projector instead? How much does your room affect the projection image if you have white walls? Is this a verdict or not? Watch the video until the end and you'll find out everything. Today we're testing a projector that's not the newest but also not the oldest. This is JVC. By the way, it's a Japanese brand. Many have already written it off. You probably remember the old VCRs from this brand. But friends, this company continues to impress the world with some really cool projectors and, as far as I know, also with medical equipment. So JVC is a mark of quality. By the way, if I remember correctly, it stands for Japan Victor Company. In this box is a projector, a laser projector, quite successful and selling well. It costs around 400,000 rubles. Let's open it up. Check out how everything is set up, the appearance, design, and features, and then we'll mount this bracket here and see how it performs right out of the box on our stock 110-inch screen. Of course, the screen is on RAM. I'm not a big fan of those retractable screens, even the ones with tensioners, because they still mess up the picture. If you want to create the best quality large image, hang up a screen like this, friends. Now I'm going to show you. You'll need a knife like this to unbox it. By the way, this is one of my favorite recent Microtechs. This is score wrap. This is how it extends and then slides back in. By the way, it's pretty safe. You can easily carry it in your pocket. Don't worry that it might somehow pop out and hurt you, because the blade ejection force isn't very strong. Let's even do an experiment. Let's try to pierce this box now, friends. We press the button. See, it stops, and it didn't even pierce the cardboard. By the way, to put the knife back in its original position, you need to do it like this. And that's it. It's working again. What have the Japanese prepared for us? By the way, I think it's not made in the land of the rising sun. Let's take a look. Made on March 3rd, 2023. It's almost a year old now, so it just sat there waiting for us to unbox it, hang it up, and test it. Notice that this is an RST supply. Guys, be careful with these gray supplies because you won't have any guarantees. And in case of a breakdown, you'll just be left alone with this projector. And with official supplies, you buy them and you're always protected for at least a year. Here the light source is laser. Non-contact lamp, so it will last very long time. The manufacturer claims it will last about 20,000 hours, but I think that's a pretty inflated estimate considering it will be in eco mode. You can always see that Epson is good in this regard. They have these big cool remotes. And where are the batteries? Oh, here. They are, friends. Maxwell, of course, is the brand. I think it's Japanese. Please correct me in the comments. All remotes for projectors should have illuminated buttons. Please correct me in the comments. All remotes for projectors should have illuminated buttons. Why? Because as a rule, people who are watching images on these projectors are in the dark. A minimal number of buttons. And look how brightly it shines. It's an eyesore. In the older models, by the way, the remote is even smaller and much more elegant, made with higher quality plastic. And here we have this oak one. The design is simple. On the other hand, what else can we come up with here? Naturally, it looks like its predecessor, the JVC UH1. The curtain isn't motorized, and there's not even a cap provided. Again, what's the point of it when you've hung it up, and it just hangs there, and no one is messing with it or touching it? It doesn't scratch the lenses. These two knobs are responsible for shifting the lens, which we get vertically and horizontally. A mandatory warning. You shouldn't look at the source of the laser light because you could burn your retina and end up losing your vision. That can happen, so be careful with that. At the back, everything is pretty straightforward. Two HDMI inputs, one of which supports HDCP 2.2. As far as I know, that's HDMI 2.0. And then we have this old, weak 1.4. I don't really get why there's such a division. It would be nice if the HDMI ports were equal, so you could connect a good quality Blu-ray player or a console like the Xbox. And everything would work great. But no, the manufacturer decided to cut costs. If you're using a high-end receiver, you just connect it through this port, power the receiver, and then connect all your sources to the receiver. But that's not a compromise-free approach. The USB, I understand, is for powering an active cable. Although I recommend friends using optical HDMI. USB, as I understand it, is for powering the active cable. Although I recommend friends using optical HDMI. They've gotten cheaper now, they're reasonably priced, and then you won't need to power it using this connector. The label says DLP Texas Instruments. They've gotten cheaper now, they're reasonably priced, and then you won't need to power it using this connector. The label says DLP Texas Instruments. This company developed this technology and promotes it. The idea behind it is that there's a spinning wheel, and with it we get all the colors. In the more expensive premium projectors from JVC, Epson, and Sony, a different technology is used. It's called differently by everyone. For example, JVC, it is DILA. The point is that there are 3 color sources, and they form the image. Naturally, because of this, the projector ends up being bulkier, but the black color is of a completely different class. Plus, the matrix itself can be true, 4K. Here, we have a full HD matrix, but thanks to the proprietary technology from Texas Instruments. It shifts the pixels, and you get a 4K image that is really top-notch. It's very hard to distinguish it from a projector with a true 4K matrix. You really have to look closely, so don't be afraid. You can go for it confidently. Yes, this isn't a compromise-free approach, but this projector is truly an entry ticket. I've already tested it, looked at it, checked how the back part is made, and as always, there are 2 extendable parts, so you'll be able to set up your projector without any issues if you place it on a table, which is quite rare usually. Yeah, this isn't a compromise-free approach, but this projector is really an entry ticket. I've already tested it, looked at it, checked how the back part is made, and as always, there are 2 extendable parts, so you'll be able to set up your projector without any issues if you place it on a table, which is quite rare usually. So you can hang it up without any problems. Here's an interesting little detail. I think most of our viewers won't guess what this thing is for. In my opinion, it's made to secure the projector so it doesn't get stolen. Just like that. If you have any other options, feel free to write in the comments. I'd be happy to hear them. Your knowledge. The last thing I want to draw your attention to is the fan, which is most likely for intake and cools the laser light source. How do these 3000 lumens shine? Let's take a look, friends. The projector is hung up. Now we're going to set it up. By the way, it's working. Well, I wouldn't say it's too loud and I wouldn't say it's too quiet. It's fine. If you're not sitting right under it, you won't really hear it. We see the language selection when we turn it on, of course. It's better to set it to English because all your settings will be, let's say, reference-based in that language. We found the tab for selecting the projection image and switched to front selling, which is what we need. Everything is in manual mode, so we carefully adjust the slider and set the image to reference. It's been about 15 minutes. The projector is hung up, set up, and filling the image on a 110-inch screen. The image is good. More than enough. I definitely miss the contrast, friends. I'll be honest. But again, these are just nitpicks. Of course, if we compare it to a 3LCD projector or a DILA, the contrast in these devices is significantly lower. But the brightness is great. Indeed, 3000 lumens allows you to light up a screen of almost 150 inches. Therefore, if you have an unprepared room, you can safely hang such a miracle. If you remove all light sources, then even in a bright room, again, you can watch a movie, but ideally, this projector will really shine. The room is as dark as ours. If you compare it to a TV, there's no doubt that a projector with a diagonal of 110 inches, even 100 inches, will give you a better quality experience in terms of immersion compared to a more or less decent 88-inch TV. Sure, the TV will be brighter and more detailed, but a smaller screen just doesn't deliver that wow factor you get from watching on a projector. And if you go for 120 inches or 130 inches, you really sit down and get the full wow effect. So, if you have the chance, hang up the projector. How do you play on 120 inches? This is just amazing. And sports competitions, when football players are practically your height running just a couple of arms lengths away, it's an unmatched feeling. For now, we can't afford a TV with a 110-inch diagonal, at least, friends. Our choice is a projector. And JVC makes more than decent options. Friends, I would appreciate it if you could subscribe and give a like. Thank you for watching until the end. We're trying really hard to create awesome, interesting content for you. the icing on the cake. Right now, our light source is shining on the screen, and it's extremely bright for filming. And you can see that the picture remains watchable.